Welcome back, everybody. I'm Jay. This is Real Talk. We have a special guest for you, Freezus Khrist, aka Stocky Balboa. What's up, my guy?
What's good, Jay? How you feeling today, sir? It's a pleasure to be
Good.
here finally.
So, before we get into the tough questions, I got to ask you something right away. So, there's this thing now that has become a thing on Turf Tales and all these other places with your winging it. We got to talk about pause. Freezes.
Yes, sir. Paul, yo, pause. Time out. You lucky I don't have my you lucky the screen not recording because I had to catch you with this one for later. As a matter of fact, when we out there, as a matter of fact, when this shit play back, I'm gonna record that and I'm gonna have to throw that up there. That's a hey yo. Was that raw? Was that shit raw? Was that hot dog raw?
It's corn dog and it's vegan.
Oh, it's even worse. Is it? Well, see a vegan corn dog. That's like a light pause, I guess, because it's
I
not
haven't
really
eaten meat
meat.
in 10 years. So,
So
yeah.
I guess you live a pause-free lifestyle.
I did plan my whole food choice today around my show with you, though.
Just pause, pause, pause.
No, I had to. I was like, this dude, we got to talk about pause. So I'm eating a corn dog right in front of him. That's it. That's what we're doing.
Listen, I've been saying that shit all like like I said, it's just a natural thing now. Like honestly, the biggest thing about it to me is just like my biggest thing, like my whole even like back when I first started rapping. I mean, even now sometimes like when I do it once in a while, like my biggest thing was always like a shock and all kind of thing. You got to pardon the rhino knuckle. I just seen how ashy I was when I did this. But so it was like when like even when I first started doing everything I did was like shock and all. So like pause is one of those things where it's just like funny because it like sometimes it makes people uncomfortable. Like some people don't know how to react around it, yo. Like I just like to make people feel off every once in a while. It may it's a good time, a good time.
Lonnie told me that he can't help himself, but every time you say it, he's like, ignore it. I'm just gonna feed into it. He's like, but I can't ignore it.
Because it's like one of those type of situations. Like I've had plenty of conversations with the homies, even like me and 21 have had that conversation, but it's just like one of them things where it's like when somebody says it, you don't want to entertain it, but it's like it's one of the things you have to like entertain. Was it you that was talking about? Well, we were talking about playing doorknob
Mm-mm.
and safety. But have you heard of those games like doorknob? So like, all right, so the game doorknob, like if a person farts and it's like, and you can smell it or it's loud enough, they have to yell safety when they do it. If not, I can call doorknob. Like, okay, so let's say we're sitting there, you fart, I realize you fart, you don't say safety, I yell doorknob. You have to get up and get to the closest doorknob, and I can punch you until you get to the doorknob. But if you fart and you say safety, I just have to sit there and bake in it, I guess, or leave the room.
Oh no, that's not something I've ever played. But see, so I'm watching Turf Tales, I'm watching Winging It, and you guys are using pause, and I'm like, okay, I get what they're doing, but I'm like, is it because I'm fucking old? So I start asking people around me, and one of my guys from Racine tells me it's not a Midwest thing. He was like, nobody in the Midwest really says it. He goes, maybe once you get to Chicago a little bit, he goes, but it's still like no homo in Chicago, where they said that's more of an East Coast thing. Do you see that, or is
Pause is definitely like an East Coast thing because it was like for a long time and for the longest time it was no homo. It was like no homo, no homo, no homo, and then it was just like, well, Keith can actually go back and quote you a Jay Z line where Jay Z says pause. I don't really remember that line so much. Like I do, but I don't. That's not the reason I started using it. I'm trying to feel like I feel like the reason I started using it, it might have been like because Cameron and them really brought it back and made a wave with it with the no homo. Because Cameron started the no homo, no homo. Like he brought, I shouldn't say he started, but he really turned that wave up. And then like I feel like it was somebody along one day somebody said pause, and that's just what niggas was using. It was like yo pause.
so on to Winging It? So this is from what I understand from Suge, your creation. This was what what you were thinking of. How'd you end up with Keith, Dell, and Payne?
All right, so winging it actually has like winging it probably has like one of the longest histories a lot of people like don't know about. Um, so Me, Payne, Dell, Keith, Skizzy, and even Dr. Claw. Well, Dr. Claw, I've known Dr. Claw since I was like 17. But me, Dell, Skizzy, like when I talk about like we've known each other since we were knee high to a duck, I'm talking knee high to a duck. Like I got like third and fourth, fifth grade like championship soccer trophies with Skiz. Me and Dell used to ride on the same bus because we lived around the corner type shit. Like so, we've just known each other for a long time. We game a lot, so we'll be on the PlayStation. We're also in like a million different group chats, and then we got all these different friends and different. So we're in like different group chats, and so like, but we have one main group chat that we're all in, and we kind of have these conversations. And for the longest time, like niggas be like, yo, we talk a lot of shit. And even before that, like probably back in like I want to say like 2015, 2016, when podcasts were first really starting to kick off, my older brother was like, yo, this is like podcasts are like there's these things called podcasts. Because I used to have an internet radio station a long time ago, with a former partnership went left. Anyways, fast forward, my brother was like, yo, you should do a podcast. I'm like, yeah, I don't know. So then I started looking into it more and more. One day, me and 21 were on a trip. We were going to cover some event for the Spanish radio station down in the city at this mansion. And on the way there in the traffic, I was like, yo, I think I want to start a podcast. So from there, like, we came back and, like, actually before it even started, it was still going to be called, it was Random Discussions About Nothing, because that's what it was. Like, it was just random discussions about nothing. So I had, originally I had, like, it was me, and it was my homegirl, Kayla, and I think it might have been one other person. That shit never really, like, went anywhere. So then fast forward, like a podcast shit is still on my mind, but like, and we're, like I said, I still had these group chats, We're having all these discussions like, yo, even when we're on the PlayStation, I'm like, yo, we talk a lot of dope shit. We should have a podcast. We should just do a podcast. You know what I mean? Like, then everybody's like, yeah, I guess so. But like, and they're like, but nobody's really doing it. So after a while, it was like, you know what? Fuck it. Then we went and I did it. I tried another one again. It was still the same thing, but this one, there were some light episodes for it. The first episode featured somebody, we ain't gonna mention his name because we don't fuck with the nigga no more. But it was me, King OG, and this dude True, shout out ass dude. And then that shit kind of just like, it was more so like niggas just couldn't get together type shit and like do it. Pause. So it was, so then like that shit kind of fell, but it was still always in the work, And then about another year later, then I went through like some shit and I kind of like I was like out of the loop for a little bit. So then we came back, we tried it one more again. This time it was like, this shit, it was a clusterfuck of people. It was like me, King OG, it was like 9 of us, to be completely honest. It was just too many. And it was just like one of those things where it was just like niggas just couldn't get together. Like it was just all over the place. Like not so much like, it was just like an organization, a timing thing. Then me, Keith, Dell, and Payne actually recorded a few episodes of what is now Winging It, but this was like years and years and years ago. Like, oh, not years ago. This is probably like 3 years ago, 2 years ago. It was Ardan at the time. We recorded the episodes, but they just never got uploaded. Like, oh, you know why? Because we did it the way the format in which we did it was via like Skype or Zoom, or no, it wasn't Zoom. It was via Skype or some shit like that. So, and at the time I was using bum ass Android technology. So why my shit sideways?
Because you're on an Android.
No, I got 13 Pro Max, baby. No, so so we just couldn't get the shit straight. Like even with the Android, we just couldn't. So we couldn't like record the shit. Like didn't have no screen recording technology. So it was like we just had these shits that were like it was like these things that we had on Skype that we just couldn't do anything with. So then finally that shit just kind of fell through. Then fast forward, pandemic hits. It's really like nothing going on. So pretty much it was like we were doing Turf Tales. We were doing Turf Tales, and like I said, everybody was in the house at this time. And then like me and 21 just kind of started talking. Like I brought up to 21 again, like, you know, I think I want to do it. And it was just kind of like one of those things where it was like, you know, it was one of those things where it was like leery at first because every time we had tried to do it, it fell through every other time or there was always an issue. So I was like, this time I'm not going to wait for niggas. I'm just going to go and take care of it myself. And however it happens. So that's what ended up happening. WingN it started on Instagram, just being just a little Wednesday night like live stream. Had guests, couldn't have more than me because, you know, it was just the one guest on the show. But it was cool. People liked it. So then, like, I think the second season, I want to say we were still on Instagram, I feel like. And then, like, somewhere in the middle of the second season, we were like, yo, let's try a live episode. We tried a live episode. It was cool. It was because then it allowed me to bring in, like, more guests and do stuff like that. Then one episode, like, I want to say it was the second or third season. It was like, yo, I think it was the second season. It was like, yo, I just kind of want to do the, I was like, I kind of want to do a Just the Homies episode. You know what I mean? So I reached out to the homies and shit like that. And they're like, yeah, I'm down. We're with it. We did it. Pause. And it was like one of our best episodes as far as like reception goes. So then I was like, So we did another one. And again, it was another episode, like, just had a great reception. And then Keith had reached out to me. He was like, you know, this shit was a lot of fun. I enjoyed it. You know, I was like, well, shit, I wouldn't mind having a co-host. Would you mind having a co-host? I was like, would you mind co-hosting? He's like, yeah, I'm down. After that, it was just kind of like, you know, then after that, Dell came through. You know, Skiz has been busy because he's a dad. He's busy. He works. He just started a new job, so he's putting stuff together. So he's still in the wings, but he's just not there right now. Dr. Claude's pretty much the same way. So he ain't a kid. He's just a busy man, and he's running a criminal empire, trying to stop Inspector Gadget, all types of shit. He's busy. Fucking, and then Payne was like the last piece. Like Payne was like Payne's my nigga. Like I said, we've all known each other forever. And then it was like one of those things. It's actually kind of funny because like Payne was supposed to do the reviews before, and then it didn't happen. It like fell through because he started his work schedule changed. So I ended up having to so like I tried to take over the reviews, as you remember, with the Long Johnson, and that was cool. Pause. But it was like I'm a busy man myself sometimes, so like doing the reviews sometimes got a little, you know, out there. And also like just Payne is dope at what he does. He does great reviews, like, and he's like not soft spoken or easy spoken for anybody. So it was like I kept like it was funny because like after he reached out back to me and said, yo, my work schedule changed, you know, like he was ready to do it again. And then like as you know, I'm terrible with messaging back. He had messaged me and I'm like, all right, cool. We can, you know what I mean? So then like probably like a month goes by. I reach out to him like, yo, because his number changed. I'm like, yo, send me a new number. I was like, send me your new number, and so we could talk, so we could do. Are you still down to do the reviews? He's like, yeah. Sends me his number. Cool. Another month, 2 months go by. Hey, yo, you still want to do reviews? Send me your number. And then he's like, yo, it's right above this. I'm like, all right, cool. I'm gonna hit you in a little bit. Another 2 months go by. Hey, you still want to do reviews? Send me your number. And then like in the same response. So then the last time I'm like, yo, I was about to send him the message again, like, yo, you still down to do reviews? And then I was like, your number's still the same? And then I just called him right then and there, and pretty much that's what it's been. You know what I mean? We got 21 on the ones and twos, or the twos and ones, if you want to call it that. And that's just what it's been since then.
How'd you meet Suge?
Working at a call center. Like it was
Okay.
actually kind of funny. Like I kind of got into the story a little bit before. I've gotten into the story a little bit before, but it's like he had met me. He was like, we were talking, and he was like, "Yo, you listen to rap?" I'm like, "Yeah." And at this time, this is before he hands me a CD of an artist that he had at the time. Um, and he hands me the copy of like the first OTH magazine ever. So I read it, I look at him like, yo, this is dope. You know what I mean? That's dope. We kind of talk like I expressed to him that I do like music and comedy. I've like let him see stuff. He's actually been to the studio with me, maybe once or twice. Um, but oh shit, I'm getting ahead of myself. But yeah, we was at the call center and it just be like he should just always be like, yo, like we work different schedules. I want to say I got there at 10. I feel like he got there 11 to 12. So when he got there, I would sit with like this group of like unsavory looking black guys, but they were nice. They just were like unsavory looking. But where we sat was like tucked off to the side and like in the back, so we could like sneak off the phone and do dumb shit. Like, you know what I mean? We was young doing dumb, like, so it was like whatever. Like, and then also it was a lot of computers around that didn't work, so it wouldn't be a lot of people sitting near us. We weren't supposed to be on our cell phones, so it was easy for us to be on our cell phones to see everything that was going on and not get in trouble type shit. So we sat there. So 21 would always come in. He'd be like, yo, come sit over here. Let's chop it up type shit. I'm like, my stuff is already there. And because these guys got to work an hour or 2 hours before me, they would always have the seat set up, and it would just always be a seat set up for me. So one day, I think we ended up like having a break together, or we left at the same time. It was something of the sort, but we were able to like really chop it up and talk. Um, After that, it was just kind of like, you know, I was fucking with the magazine, I was fucking with the music. I was just like there more so than anything. And then like, it kind of like extended to a point where like one day he had somebody flake on him for an event, and he was like, yo, you want to roll with me? And I took that ride, pause, and pretty much it was just like one of those things. Like we actually hit, like, yeah, it's just like one of them things. It's just been the wheels been on the ground ever since. It was just like that. Like we we've had a lot of fucking interesting fucking trips, moments and shit. Like when I tell you niggas have slept on the street in like New York City, washed up like on the top of a parking garage, like outside a car type shit. Like niggas have really done it all. Like to the point of like standing outside and like cold ass weather, waiting for Joel Santana, just for Joel Santana to get there, walk through, grab a barbecue plate, light up a blunt in the strip club, and walk the fuck back out and say, well, he'll meet us later type shit. Like, like but nah, it's been one of those things. It's just been, you know.
Well, I got some more questions, but before we get to that, everybody take your ass over to overtimehustling.com. Check out the merch, check out the music. You got SK, you got um, Kush Kennedy, you got Grizz. You know what? Go over there and check it out because you can see it better than I can tell you. Overtimehustling.com.
You already
So
know.
when Suge and I were talking, and it was the question was posed on Turf Tales, and so I put it back to him as somebody who knows you guys. It was asked who could outsmoke who, the Turf Tales crew, and without hesitation, Suge picked you.
I mean
He said he's witnessed it personally.
that's a safe assumption. Like I have like moments where like I can tell you like some shit. Like I have moments where I've like not like stopped smoking for like days and days straight. Like I don't even understand. Like sometimes it just happens. Like I don't know. It's like I just be sometimes like like people smoke and get the munchies. Like I don't even really get the munchies like that because sometimes I'll get the munchies and I'll forget about it and then I'll go and roll up again and I'll smoke again. I just be forgetting shit. Like not forgetting shit. I guess you could say forgetting shit. I don't know. Don't ask. I just really like to smoke. Like some niggas like to like drink. Like I like to smoke. Like I
So
really just need a job where I can just do it all the time.
yeah, you need to like be a bud tender or something. Are you from
Exactly.
Jersey? Is that right?
That's where I grew up. That's where I was raised.
How the hell do you have a Bulls banner behind you?
Um, Honestly, because the Bulls were the shit when I was growing up. That's number one. Number two, it was like the only time I ever got to stay up late was when Bulls games were on. Like my mom would let me stay up late for Bulls games. Um, I used to think my mom used to tell me she was a big Bulls fan, but like now she's just a front runner, so I don't know. But it's all right because I got my love for the Bulls. I mean, what can't you love about the Bulls? Number one, their jerseys are fire. Like they've had great. Like, Ron Artest was sitting on our bench drinking Hennessy out of Gatorade bottles. Like, what the fuck are
Hey,
you saying? Like, why?
I'm a Bucks fan. I'm a Bucks fan, so by nature, I have to hate the Bulls.
I mean, that's all right for you. I understand that. I mean, but you guys have your time now. You see what I'm saying? So it's like, and the Bucks will probably get a couple more. And like realistically, you're gonna have a bunch of little kids that are gonna be Bucks fans at a time frame where the Bucks aren't like doing shit, and people are like, why are you a Bucks fan? But not. The Bulls just
Hey,
always been that shit.
the Bulls are young and up and coming. The Bulls are an up and coming team. I
Oh
just
no, the
haven't
Bulls
given a shit.
the Bulls look great. They're not. And then I mean, at the time, like the Nets were cool. I had a Kerry Kittles basketball. I met, you know what I mean? Like, but at the same time, it was like it just was like I said, the Bulls. Everything about the Bulls is iconic. From the intro music to the to the to like I said, to the jerseys, and then like it's something about that red and black, and then that red and black with the pinstripe was crazy. That's one of my favorites. The lettering all the way around. The only other team that I can like, I love basketball like as a whole sport, but like the only other team that I can say whose jerseys I like because like because of that pinstripe effect is probably like the Rockets because I like they pinstripe and I like the Magic when they had their pinstripe. But and like I
So,
said, them niggas got 6 rings. I mean, I know the Lakers got a lot and the Celtics got a lot, but they also had Bill Russell and he was 7-1 and like I still don't count that shit. Like
well, and
shout out to Bill
everybody always
Russell, he
wanted
did
to
what
get
he
to
did.
LA. Like so Kareem won the Bucks a championship, and then he wants out, and he goes to LA and helps them win six,
Yeah,
I think.
yeah.
Or whatever it was. And so the question I have too is, how did you get to restart reviewing Bel Air? How did that start?
It's actually crazy because if anybody who knows me knows like I like Will Smith. His movies are cool. You know what I mean? Like he has certain things that I fuck with, but like pause. I feel like that might be in there somewhere. But he's got certain works that I think are great. But I like as like a person, I think Will Smith is like corny as hell. Like it's nothing wrong. Like people say, "Oh, how do you think Will Smith is corny?" Like they automatically give me shit about it. Like something's wrong. Like he's corny, but he's himself. Like he's not trying to be anybody else. Like he's himself. But with all of that being said, that's how I got on Bel Air. I never liked the Fresh Prince. Like the Fresh Prince was probably like one of my least favorite shows growing up. Like I liked I like Married with Children. I like Family Matters, Step by Step, shit like that. But Fresh Prince, like I would watch it once in a while. Like the main reason I watched Fresh Prince was just for like Jeffrey's one word anecdotes because Jeffrey is the goat of the one liners, point blank period. I feel like, um, but then I was like, you know what? I've been hearing all of this shit, like, because I don't know if people remember, but this like reimagining was like something that came out a long, long time ago. Like they were like teasing it for a while, like years ago. So I'd always wanted to see it because I was like, yo, if they do like a hood Fresh Prince, I was like, that might be kind of dope. Because you got to realize West Philly is not a nice area for the most part. You see what I'm saying? So it's like Will wasn't like, yeah, Will may have been a high spirited, happy go lucky kind of kid, but even high spirited, happy go lucky kind of kid is like different when you put him in the area. That's why blurs are so much different from your regular nerds because your average blurred probably grows up in an impoverished area. So even though he's a nerd to the fullest, he's still got gang members living right next door. So he still picks up part of their culture. He still so that's why I was like, that's why I was like, I don't know. But I was like, I hope they would keep like the essence of it. So, I happened to I was like, I'm gonna check out the first episode when they finally said it was coming out. I checked out the first episode and I'm like, yo, this shit is fire. And then the fact that it tackles so many of like LV said this past week on Wednesday, it tackles so many like social issues that are going on right now. Like the fact that Hillary's not like a ditzy little bitch no more. She's like woke. Jazz is woke but still goofy as hell. Will is pretty much who he is. Like even Carlton is like evolving and like changing. It's almost like you're watching Carlton's metamorphosis in front of you. Like it's crazy because like I said, I didn't know if I could like Carlton, and I'm like Carlton slowly like his character structure is slowly becoming one of my favorites because he's like really building. Of course, you got Jeffrey over there, Black Alfred from Batman. You know what I mean? Like taking people out and shit like that. Even though Jeffrey snitching and going to get Will pops. You know what I mean? Like, but it was cool to me. Like so, I was like, you know what? I was like, this show has a lot of range and has a lot of possibility. Like for me to be completely honest, and I'll say this, and people look at me. Some people look at me funny when I say it. Some people are like, yeah, I can see how you can say that, but they don't want to give it. They don't want to say that for it. But this Bel-Air is better than the Fresh Prince to me.
I agree.
Like, by far.
Did you see Will Smith got kicked out of the Academy Awards today for 10 years? That was his punishment. So with Bel-Air, though, I think that I always tell people, they're like, because I'll tell people about it and they'll be like, what it's on. And I'm like, the cock. You know, you got to call it the cock, not peacock. But so I'm like, it is. I always explain it's a little grittier, but they still play off the corniness of the Fresh Prince with the like when he walks in and he's like, Will, what are you doing here? I got one little fight. My mom got scared. Or Jazz pulls up with dice in the mirror, you know, like they still play off of that shit. So I hated fucking Carlton up until about 2 or 3 episodes ago. He started to turn me.
And then this last episode, the nigga almost like I was like, damn, nigga, if I was a soft ass nigga, I probably would have cried with Carlton, yo. when he showed up at Lisa's door, like he was there when nobody else was for me, man. And I was like, damn, Carlton, I feel for you, nigga. Like, goddamn, go find your cousin, nigga.
You're right.
And then also like because like a lot of people don't know this about me, but one thing I've always wanted to do, and it's like, don't worry, it's coming, is like act. Like I'm actually in the process of like writing like some scripts right now. Like I want to act, I want to film and direct shit. So like I watch a lot of stuff to see how shit is shot, to see what like things they use. Like even your worst, corniest, terrible movies, I watch them because there's always still something to be had from them. Like especially like people give hood movies a lot of shit, but hood movies are only bad because these niggas are on a terrible budget. But a lot of hood movies have a decent story, and like they could, like, you know what I mean? Like it's a lot of it is the editing and the filming and shit like that just makes it bad. But a lot of times that's why you find yourself watching hood stories, like even though the movie's bad, because you get sucked into the story. But
I could literally see you doing web series, right? Like, so have you ever watched any of these web series?
Yeah.
Like
you talking about like Money and Violence? And,
yeah. So it was low budget as shit, right? And then but it was good. And then it went with Title, and I'm like, okay, it's gonna get better. And then everybody ended up hating the fucking dude who did it, and it disappeared. So if you do a web series, just don't do me dirty, because Mayhem just disappeared. Some Boom P went crazy, and Respect Life just fucking disappeared. And now some dude took it over. They're like, we're back. One episode just fucking disappears again. So if you do a web series, don't do me dirty, man.
I got you. But yeah, like with the Fresh Prince, like a lot of people. But when you go back and really watch the Fresh Prince and watch how it's shot, like they kind of like even down to the hairstyles. They kept the hairstyles as similar to the past, but as modern as they could make them. The house layout is exactly the same as the other house layout. Like you get to see the rest of it. Like you heard about the pool house and you got to see the inside of the pool house, but you never actually got to see the pool or see the entrance to the pool house. But you kind of got like glimpses of it from the outside. And like based upon the glimpses of it from the outside, like if you go back and watch the old Fresh Prince, because I have been doing that now since this one is out, like I'll just go back and like watch clips on YouTube and shit like that just to check it out. The layout is exactly how you envisioned it from what you can see. You see what I'm saying? Like even to the outside, like when they throw Jazz out the house, the pillars, like you see there are pillars there. Now when you see niggas standing on the porch, you see the actual pillars and shit like that. So it was like, I'm like, all right, this is cool. Like that's my like I like how it's shot. Like,
yeah, I think they do a great job of playing off the old characters, but making them their own too. Like, so they got like the familiar, you feel the familiarity with the character, but they're completely different. Like you made a good point about Hillary. I know some people are pissed off because Ashley's gay. I'm one of the people, I don't give a shit. Like, whatever.
it's what's going on now. Like that's the thing. Like it is what's going on now. You may feel a way about it, and yeah, but it's what's going on. Like they got to tackle the tough issues. Like, I mean, it happened. It's to the point that even 50 is putting it in his series now. Like it's what's going on. These are the things that's happening in this world. These are the shit that we're seeing that we're like.
Do you watch BMF?
Oh, I watched the shit out of BMF. I don't watch that series about 3 or 4 times. I actually just watched it again the other day.
I
My
watched
girl
it
was like,
through a
"What?"
second time also because I watch a lot of documentaries too. And so I've seen a lot of documentaries on BMF and different things. And that show, man, like they say in the beginning, I don't know how much is true, but most of this shit probably happened, right? I
Yeah.
feel like they nailed really good what I learned from the documentaries with adding on to it. And at first, I'm looking at it and I'm like, man, that's the dude from All American. How the fuck's he going to pull that off? And then he nailed it. And I was like, okay, you sold me. Meech's brother, I forget dude's name. But I'm like, you're
Yeah.
that quarterback from All American, man. You know how you get caught up in shit like that when you watch
You know what's
shows?
crazy? I've never seen All American, but I did see his brother. The guy that plays his brother was in The Boys for like 10 minutes.
Okay.
Have you seen The Boys
No.
on Amazon Prime? Check
No,
it
it
out.
advertises it on my Fire Stick every day.
Nigga, you will. If you start The Boys right now, I guarantee you'll finish that too, because season 3 is dropping on June 3rd. You will binge watch. You will binge watch the whole shit. Like you put that shit on now, you'll finish it. Like because it's like it DC had a chance to pick it up, but they didn't. Because I actually have a graphic novel and it kind of like explains the whole story of them in the beginning. And one thing I like about The Boys is it's very true to the graphic novel, except in the graphic novel, it's a little more grittier, a little more X-rated, just because it is. But like the show still pretty much follows the story. Like you get to see like it's pretty much what superheroes would be like if they were really superheroes in this world. Because you got to understand, like superheroes are like they still get tested by humanity at the end of the day. So it's like these niggas have like moral dilemmas. They're doing dumb shit. They're doing shit, but they're like dirty superheroes, like dirty cops. Then there are like other superheroes that want to make a change or shit like that. Like
You reminded me of a question I need to ask you because there's always this argument, and I am not the right guy to ask. I do not follow comic books. I just watch movies or shit like that. Do you consider, I have my opinion, do you consider Batman a superhero? See,
I
here's
would
my argument.
I would just honestly I just say like he's like he falls in with a group of superheroes, but I feel like he's more so like a hero because even the Flash to me isn't really like a superhero per se. Like Wonder Woman's a superhero. Wolverine, you could say.
Well, what makes you a superhero? Because some people say it's having supernatural powers. I would argue a, a, a fireman is a hero. Batman would be a superhero.
Why would you argue that?
Because he saves more lives and does more crazy shit than a fireman, right? Like he goes above and beyond, or what we would consider a hero.
But all right, so take about this and go back. Yeah, I guess so. So if you want to take it like that, yo, like
But see, I don't
honestly,
follow comics and shit. That's why I'm asking you.
so I watched this show called Invincible. It's like an animated series, and it's like a young superhero. But I bring it up just to say all of this. Like I like to watch superheroes by like the number of casualties like that they
Okay.
do not potentially cause. You see what I'm saying? So it's like so would I say Batman? Batman probably I would say Batman probably is a superhero because Batman actually does like save lives. But like when you think about it, like even like Spider-Man, like when rocks are falling below him and he's jumping to get to the bad guy and he's pushing off those rocks are still falling down on people below and shit like that. Like
Okay, I never
you
thought
gotta
of it
like
that way.
like nobody ever thinks about this shit. Like when they're fighting in the street and like you gotta remember niggas are still in these buildings, like and they're throwing motherfuckers into the buildings and crashing in the cars and shit like that. Like nobody ever thinks about it, but like there's a lot of murder that goes on in cartoons, like superhero cartoons that you don't pay no attention to. Like Superman probably saves what 1 or 2 bitches every so often, but for the most part, he's punching fucking Darkseid into an oncoming car. Like this nigga's driving the truck and Superman is gonna knock the nigga into it.
That is
Like,
a very different way to look at that because I don't think many people look at it that way. So you even put you turn the heroes into villains.
no, superheroes are a gang, bro. Nobody understands that. Like, think about it, yo. Nigga show up with his army. You know what I mean? Yeah, he looks to take on the world. And all right, cool. When that's when they're heroes, when they're fighting the niggas army and shit. But like, even when you think about like when the Avengers were fighting Ultron, who was handling the people on the ground like that? You see what I'm saying? Because Ultron's army was everywhere, nigga. So it's like, so like, yeah, okay. Are they really heroes at that point in time? I don't know, but at least they're getting a quote unquote fair fight because they're like fighting with one another like all over the place, like here and there, like, you know what I mean. But then where they become a gang and where it's fucked up at is like, for instance, like Thanos or like Darkseid or something like that. Like, yeah, this nigga shows up and Superman or one of these niggas will try to fight him in a one-on-one and they can't beat him. So what do? They go back and get the gang. And next thing you know, they whooping on this nigga all at one time. And so now you got a bunch of niggas with super abilities whipping on you. And then Batman don't have no super abilities. So he's throwing little sharp ass objects at you and fucking bombs and smoke and shit. So realistically, like, yo, you're getting fucking jumped, nigga. Like that shit, like, that's like, it's like watching the Rodney King beating over and over and over again.
Fuck. Okay, I didn't think the Rodney King beating was going to be part of this show, but like you never know where it's going to go. So, how did Turf Tales begin with you, man? How'd you get into Turf Tales? I fucking love Turf Tales. The comments in themselves, in both shows, though, the comments in themselves is a community that turns into something else. So, before we shout out Zag and Damien and Austin and Aaron and Five Star and everybody else who I'm forgetting, they make those shows so much fun on top of what you guys are doing.
Well, at the time with when it first started, I happened my first time ever on Turf Tales was when it first started. I was a guest on the show, and then I pretty much, you know, I came back and I was like, yo, I was like, yo, that was kind of fun. I was like, I'd love to be a guest again. I think I was a guest again at one point in time, and I was like, yo, I talked to 21. I was like, yo, what do you want to? I was like, what do you think about me being a guest host on the show type shit? And then he was like, I don't know. We'll see about it. He was like, I got to go talk to Dollar at the time. And pretty much after that, it was just like, I was a guest. I was a co-host. After that, it was like, after that, it was cool. I became a co-host on the show. I've been there since then. It's like, I don't know. It's been a long run. It's been a good run. It's just like, it's like, I never expected it to like, I just seeing where it's grown from and what it is now. It's like, it's just like something so, it's just like something so like, it's different. It's evolved. It's like, it's just like, it's one of them things. Like it's like, it's hard when you see shit like, not hard. It's hard to express it because it's like, I've watched this shit grow and it like, it feels like great to be like, damn, yo, this is that. You know what I mean? Like, it's just been like,
I do.
it's been like one of those.
I've been watching since there was only like what a few hundred followers, not over the the 1,000K.
Yeah.
I was watching when you were in Zoom, black backgrounds, DJ Despair getting picked on for sleeping with a moose,
Yeah.
like from Lonnie.
Like nigga
Before
leaving,
Lonnie, I was watching
nigga
before
sign,
Lonnie
nigga,
was on.
yeah, nigga signing off the show and shit like that. Like that shit was like I said, it just been so many fucking moments. Like it's just been great moments, nigga. Like even to the point, like, and like one of my things again, I'm one of the guys with how shit is shot, yo. Like when you think about like the camera quality of like the host when it started, like even like backgrounds and backdrops and shit like that. Like when I used to co-host Turf Tales, I used to be sitting in front of a couch, like in the living room type shit, like on the floor. And then it's like, even what I mean, like a lot of it's just one of those things. We just then like I said, like you said, we went from Zoom, then we went from Zoom. Now we're with the StreamYard. You see what I'm saying? Like we've it's just been a hell of a ride for like Turf Tales, yo. Like it's just become I think it's become a lot more than it became a lot more than we expected, but we always knew it could, you know what I mean? And then it's like it's dope because it's something that all walks of life fuck with. Like we have fighters, we've had Tucker, they're like the thrifters. We have, as you know, we have rap artists.
Alexander
we
Madsen of the Minnesota Vikings.
exactly we've had NFL stars, Alexander Madison. We've had like we had Rick Hard up there. You know what I mean? Rick Hard did shit with videos. You know what I mean? He rapped with a he rapped with a Hennessy bottle, or the Hennessy bottles kicked a freestyle that night. You know what I mean? Like we've had fucking rap battles, joke sessions. You know what I mean? Like
Hot
it's
Rod
just
was fire when he was live DJing too.
you said, oh yeah. Hot Rod did his fucking thing, yo. Like that was dope. That's what I'm saying. Like we've had like it's just been there's just so many like Turf Tales moments. Like it's just been like, and to be a part of it all is like amazing. Especially like just like I said, just being there and seeing it. Like and like I said, even for me, like just as a matter of fact, just seeing the whole overtime hustling thing grow and develop in and of itself is fucking amazing. Like it's a major accomplishment. Shout out to 21 for that shit. Because like at the end of the day, like he's told me stories like they started out like doing parties and CDs and shit like that, and then for it to elevate, and now it's a magazine, and now it's like we got all this media and all this. Like you see what I'm saying? It's just like this shit. Like I said, it's just been
Hey,
a
I
great.
just ordered
You
my
know,
hoodie. Wait till you see this cold ass hoodie I just ordered from OTH. And shout out to Suge because he's helped us so much. He's had our back, which he doesn't have to do that. You guys got way more, subscribers than us, and he still got our back. And the fact is, I get kind of a little bit what you're saying about the turf tail moments because I went from watching you guys every week to you guys having me on there, and I'm the biggest Vikings fan in the world. And I got
yeah,
to literally talk to Alexander Madsen on the Turf Tail show,
that's yeah. You see what I'm saying? And that like for you, Alexander Madison, like that's why people don't realize. Like even that last time Cassius was up there, like I'd be like start because Cassius is probably one of my favorite rappers, like
Me
of all
too.
time. And like people don't like people are like oh like people look at me funny like how can I say something like that? Like I don't really like I judge artists on how like I feel when I listen to the music, not because they got millions of dollars or because
Wow.
they sell a lot of records or a lot of shit like that. Like I really go by like how they feel or what they do. That you know what I mean. So like Cassius is one of my favorites, and like just to have him up there and be able to talk to him not once but fucking twice, yo. Like even just you know what I mean, just sit up there and crack a joke and make this nigga laugh type shit. You know what I mean? Like that shit is cool to me. Like one of my favorite verses of all time. Like I have certain songs that come in and out of my head all week. Like, and one of my favorites verses is fucking Cassius. It's fucking you don't know verse, nigga. Pistol play, ricochet, see where the victim lay, slumped over, bleeding, JFK, SK to your chest plate, cave. I'm a ride to the death. Do you rep that way? Listen, that shit is one of my favorite fucking like one of my favorite lines, one of my favorite verses. Like, so it's like, yeah, it's like that shit's been cool. Like, it's Turtles has been a hell of a ride.
I'm a
OTH,
homer.
this whole shit has been a hell of a ride.
I'm a homer. If you're from Wisconsin or Chicago, because that's where I grew up between Wisconsin and Chicago, I'm a big fan. So I was excited to see Cassius on Turf Tales. I even hit Suge up in the private message, was like, damn, right? Like,
Yeah,
so you ain't the only one who's a fan, but to get that, the fact that you guys, okay, so here's the funny thing, and I have to shoot it over to Suge still, but this morning I get up and people know I fuck with you guys a little bit. I got a message saying, "Can you get me on Turf Tales?" I'm
that's
like,
funny.
no, but first I reached out to Suge and said, "You want me to ignore it or send it over?" I don't know the dude. He's like, "Send it over." So then I messaged back, "No, but I'll put you in touch with the dude who can." You know what I mean? But
Yeah,
because I've been on there and had you guys on here, I'm like, I got a message now. Like, hey, can you help me out?
and that's what's cool about it, yo. Like I said, it's just like I get people like following me and like hitting me with random stuff sometimes. Sometimes I don't know if they're scammers or not, but then like sometimes it's like they're like you know what I mean. It's just one of those things, yo. It's like
It's a
it's like
weird
damn,
feeling to know people like your shit though, because it hit me a few weeks ago. We're
yeah,
getting ready to go live on MMA Underground. We're running behind, which we never do because we're like a guest is really late. So we're making it take a little long as we can. All of a sudden, we start getting messages like, "Are you guys going on? What's?" And I was like, "Oh fuck!" People like not only do they watch us, but they give a fuck if we're on. It's the weirdest feeling.
yeah. Like people, yeah, like that. That's what I've started to realize. Like somebody, I did I did the season finale, and somebody came up to me one day, was like, "Yo." what do you mean? What do you mean season finale? Like, is the show over? I said, no, it's just the end of the season. I was like, it's not a season finale. Like, and then people like, because like some people, honestly, like I send that link out to everybody, so I don't be like, well, I shoot the link out. Like, I am annoying with the link. People, if anybody knows me, that anybody that knows me that sees this and hears this will admit it. Like, one of my homies said that shit. He's like, I get the link on Snapchat. I get the link on TikTok. I get the link on Facebook. I get the link on Instagram, and you text it to me, and I do. I send it out like that. I just shoot it out, and like sometimes I forget to like text people because I'll just be like going, or like especially right now because my computer's been on the fritz, so I've been using my phone. My other phone is like it's an old phone. It's an older phone, so I don't have all my current numbers in it. So sometimes like I'll text people. I'll text like older people that fuck with the show from that phone and send them messages. But like if I don't send them messages from anybody who's in my newer phone, like them messages, like I get them, they'll come up to me next day, like, what happened? Y'all ain't go last night? What went on? I'm like, no, we on there. Like, you know what I mean? Like, got to turn on your notifications.
So will say this: I'm a big fan of both shows, but when it comes to Turf Tales, I'm a big fan of SK. I'm a big fan of his music, and I think he brings a lot to the show. But you and Lonnie Dangerous play off of each other so well, and you're both fucking hilarious. I think that was a great match, and I know it was for you did it for winging it, but you need to bring back some more hakus.
Oh, I got you. They are coming. I've been working on them. They just I don't even like that shit. Just kind of like I don't even know where that shit even. Well, it's just one of those things. Like ever since I was a kid, it's one. I used to do it, and like me and my cousin actually used to do it like a lot. Like so, like we would take a song. Like the first song I think we probably ever really like did it with for real, like being for real with it was Usher. You don't have to call. It was like after tonight. Don't leave your girl around me. True player for real. Ask my nigga for real. And it was just one of those things. So ever since then, like songs with certain like we just and I can't even explain what makes me pick a song to do it with, but it's just like I think honestly it's got to be some player shit or some pimp shit or like some gangster shit. Like it's like and that shit works out. Like it's just one of those things. It's just and it's one of those things like I never thought like people would like it, but they
Oh, it's
do because
hilarious.
to me it's just something dumb that I do. Like it almost like when I do it, it almost annoys me sometimes. I'm like, yo, this is the corniest. Every time I do it, I'm like, this is the corniest fucking shit ever, yo. Like I do it all the time. Like it, but it gives me a chuckle too. So I'm like, you know,
Yeah, no, it's funny. The first time I saw it, I was like, "Oh shit, what the fuck?" And I don't usually rewind during your show because you don't want to fall behind. But I had to watch it again
yeah,
the first time, like because if you fall behind, the chats will tell on some shit, and then you'll be confused, and you'll be like,
yeah.
"Wait, what the hell? I gotta jump back forward."
I've had that happen to me as a host. Like when I'm looking at the chat, because sometimes my screen will randomly pause, and then I'll be looking like, what the fuck is
Even your
going on?
phone pauses.
Yeah, like even my phone pauses. Yep. So I'll be like, so the chat will still be going, but my screen won't be running. Like the video just be on pause. So I'm like, yo, what the fuck are they talking about? Then I have to like think back to shit that we just said. Like sometimes you'll see it. Like if I ever see a moment where I stop and I look like I'm thinking, it's because the screen that I'm looking on at the chat, the video paused, but the chat's still going. So I'm like, oh, yeah. But nah, yeah, like I said, it's just one of those things. Like I said, and they'll be on the way back. Like I said, I just do them, and then it's like I know a lot of song lyrics to the point where it's like, and then it's just like across genres. Like sometimes I'll be sitting places and like a song will come on, I'm like, and it's like, what? How the fuck do you know that? Like, I was someplace a few weeks ago and fucking. Have you heard of the group Dispatch? See, there you go. And this is probably one of the whitest groups you'll ever hear. But they have this song called The General. And it's like a song I heard when I was younger. And it's just like one of them songs, like, cause I love music of all sorts. Like, it's just cool. So I was like, I just fell in love with it. So it's like, I was singing it and somebody looked at me like, what? Like one day me and 21 pulled up to a GameStop because we were going to get pop figures and shit. We pulled up to a GameStop, nigga. I got Britney Spears going. Hit me, baby, one more. That's my shit, nigga. I know that song word for word, nigga. Like that's my shit. Like I ain't gonna hold you, nigga. Backstreet Boys, that's my shit, nigga. Fucking Gwen Stefani, Spiderweb's my shit, nigga. Fucking it's certain like it's all like if you Freezus listens to all
Backstreet
kinds of
Boys,
music,
though, really?
nigga. Everybody,
You
yeah,
can
that's
like
my.
whatever you want. I just didn't see that coming, man. I just didn't
you,
see
you
that
you
coming.
you won't see a lot of that's what I'm saying. Like a lot of people are like, yo, what the fuck? Like this nigga Freeze, like we're like, I really will. I'll listen. I listen to it all. It doesn't really matter what it is, yo. Like if it's cool, it's cool. Like country music, some of my favorite music too.
I
Like
listen to
you ever heard
everything.
Honky?
There's only a
You ever
handful of country songs I can do.
listen? You ever heard Honky Tonk Badonka?
No, I
That
got
shit
to
is
now.
that shit is fire. That nigga, like, listen, all right. So they dude on the song he's sliding on the beat in the first place because the shit starts off and it's like it sounds like a hold down. So it's like woo, and then it's like, how does it start? But it starts with some gang shit. It's like, and then it's like he's singing in the hook. The second verse starts off. It's like, now, honey, you can't blame her for what her mama gave her. And it's like, I'm like, this is on the. I'm like, all right, cool. And the hook is he's like, Lord have mercy, how she even get them britches on that honky tonk, but donka donk. Swinging curvy rhythm makes you want to sing along. Got it going on like Donkey Kong. Now, woo wee, shut your mouth, slap your grandma. It ought to be a law. Get the sheriff on the
Hey,
phone.
you're gonna get us
Listen,
a
nigga.
copyright strike. You keep going, man. Like, oh,
listen,
I'm not gonna
listen. That
lie
is
though.
that.
I'm old and I listen to a lot of '90s hip hop and a lot of '90s alternative. I listen to some newer shit, but not like everybody else.
I listen to it all, and like that's why I can say like that's how I can say like when I pick my favorite rappers. That's why I pick my favorite rappers the way I do for the most part because like or and I honestly like a top five is hard for me to pick because it's just like it switches so much. But like
Who's the GOAT?
for
You
me,
know the answer's Rakim, right? You know that's the right answer.
for me, the answer to that one, I would honestly say, and a lot of people, some people are gonna look at me like, and then some, and then some, but I'm gonna say Lil Wayne. Like to me, like Lil Wayne, like because
Okay.
I call Lil Wayne's success like back when I was in like the sixth grade, seventh grade type shit. Like I used to videos used to call him like, yo, I was like, yo, he's dope. People like, nah, that nigga's man, he can't rap, he's trash. This, that, and the third. Fast forward to
Hey,
uh
one of the coldest verses is on No Love with Eminem, right? But I feel bad for him because Eminem came so hard after him that I don't think he gets the recognition he should get.
see, I don't I feel like all right, so I liked Eminem when I was younger. Like I liked his music. Like even though his music was a little, Eminem's music is very pause-ish. Eminem's music is just a pause fest. Like 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 Rain Man. I dare not even spit the lyrics to Rain Man sometimes. Like I don't even like to listen. Like it was crazy because one day I'm sitting and I'm listening to Rain Man and I'm like, and I start listening to the second verse and it's like, but what if a football? Yeah, blah, blah. I'm like, this nigga putt golf with a friend, and I'm like, yo, this nigga's bugging, yo. I'm like, but at the end of the day, like it's that it was dope. He made it work. It was fire. I can't complain. I don't have it was a fun rhyme scheme. I'm like you like, and that's the biggest thing. I say pause because it's fun. Like by no means am I like homophobic or any of that
Oh
shit
no,
like
yeah,
that. Like
Lonnie and I talked about that, and we both put that out there. Like it's all comedy with you. You
yeah,
know
like
what I mean? It's all comedy. And you can tell just by watching your guys' shows, though, none of it ever has like malice intent or anything like that. It's all about entertainment.
Yeah, exactly, and like that's the biggest thing. Like, I mean, sometimes like you'll catch them on like there are moments that I've had where like I've like had like some malice in me. Pause, because Malice was the dude from the clips, but I wasn't talking about him. I was talking about Malice. But just in case anybody else is thinking about that shit, I'm gonna just throw the pause out there. Nah, but no, he's not. But nah, so nah, anyway, nah, so it was like it's times where, but like even then, like it was on one of the episodes with the homies, and then like even then you'll see it, and that's what good friends do. Them niggas check me and say they're like, nah, don't do that one, Freeze, leave it alone. So I had to leave it alone. But but nah, for the most part, because that's what winging it is like supposed to be. Even with turf tails, like that's why if you notice, like we try to stay away from politics so much because it's like one of them things where like even like when it gets to real color based discussions, like they come up once in a while because it's just natural, but like it's like one of those things you try to keep them off because with winging it in turf tails, like it's like going to the bar after work or like going to Cheers, you know what I mean? Like, and Keith is Norm, just not fat. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's just you're supposed to come here, have a good time. Everybody knows your name. You unwind, get your drinks in. We talk. We have a good fucking time. It's the unwind. It's the unload, and it's perfect because like winging it is on Wednesday, so you get your load off on a Wednesday. That's like get you through your final push, and then turf tails at the end of the week is like when you really can kick your feet up and know you can finally relax. Like winging is, you know what I mean? It actually just works out.
Well, Freeze, I really thank you for giving me your time. I won't keep you all day. I didn't even expect that this would go a whole hour because we usually do half the time, but you're such a great conversation. So I appreciate it so much, man. And I know it was hard to like free up some time. So again, thank you.
Oh no, it was good. I appreciate it. Like this was a great time. I was like, I gotta come do this, yo. Like, and even like, you know what I mean. So it wasn't nothing to make some time. You know what I mean. We was a little late.
No worries.
I had to go to the bank. You know, my attempted burglary didn't. That's a joke, y'all. Because I don't want nobody to be like, well, it wasn't. Well, you know, it wasn't something. No, that wasn't me. No, but no, but definitely make sure y'all check out Turf Tales tonight. 12 midnight Eastern, 9 p.m. Pacific, 8 p.m. Alaskan. Y'all know what it is. Freezus Khrist. Make sure y'all tap in. Shout out to everybody over there. You know what it is. 21.
Hit them with your social media too.
On Facebook, I'm Stocky Balboa. On Instagram, it's right there at Freezus_Khrist. It's pretty much like that on everything else. Facebook. Oh, I mean, no, excuse me.
Never
Facebook
on
is
Facebook anyway.
I'm never on Facebook anyway, but on Facebook it's Stocky Balboa. I'll probably add you in like a month or two, maybe 3. Like I said, Instagram, TikTok, PlayStation Network, all that other shit. It's Freezus_Khrist. Like I said, shout out 21K, shout out Lonnie, SK, Kush, Cuzzo, King OG, Keith, King Dell, fucking Payne, Skiz, Claw, fucking everybody.
The whole OTH family.
Yeah, just everybody. Hey, you know everybody. It's just because it's a lot of niggas in there. If I was out here, I'd be out here all day.
All right. Well, thanks again, man. I really appreciate you coming on. All right, guys. Thanks for watching. One world, one love. Deuces.
Peace.
Everything's polluted. The environment, the government, the schools, you name it.
This radio person is the whole problem. Are we going to allow this guy to be heard by anyone who can turn a dial?
You out there? You listening?